Hello trader, welcome back to this new weekly market outlook video where we prepare for the upcoming week. I will share with you as usual the level I will look for and my plan for this week on major dollar pairs and some commodity instruments. So let's start with the economic calendar. What do we have this upcoming week? On Monday we have some bank holiday pretty much on United States, Canada and China, but we don't care for China. Nothing interesting on Monday. Tuesday, we have the Clement counts change on pounds. Very, very interesting. We're gonna see if we the Clement the situation about jobs data is it good or is it still bad? We're gonna see it. I'm gonna keep my eyes on this. Pretty much all the jobs data on pounds, on unemployment rates, average earnings. Very interesting on Tuesday morning. Okay. And then another interesting thing is inflation on Canada, dollar CAD. Keep my eye on that. CPI. Then we have some at the end of the Tuesday. We got some PPI, inflation on New Zealand dollar. We got inflation, no, not inflation. Interesting. We have interest rate on Kiwi dollar on Wednesday. Very, very interesting. We're gonna see if the Airbnb will continue to hold rates or not. Very interesting for Kiwi dollar pairs. I'm gonna keep eyes on it if I could find some setup on NZD pairs. Also, we have the after the jobs data on pound. We also have inflation on Wednesday morning. Very interesting. The operator expect cooling inflation. We're gonna see some another inflation data on pounds. I'm gonna keep my eye on it. Then what's next? We have some FOMC meeting minutes. We're gonna see what they are talking about. They are going to talk about. Interesting. Then on Thursday, we have the jobs data on Aussie. Very, very interesting. We're gonna see if the unemployment rate is lowering or rising. And we're gonna see. I'm gonna keep my eyes on jobs reports. Okay. On Aussie, then we have the usual unemployment claims, trade balance, crude oil inventory, and natural gas. I keep my eye on natural gas because as I've said in my last video, I have some position on natural gas. Um, I'm gonna develop in the end of the video for that. Okay. Then we have Airbnb speech. We have retail sales on pounds. Interesting. Some PMI on euro. PMI on pound also, and we have at the end of the week some GDP data called PCA price also and PMI on USD. Overall, it's gonna be an interesting week with a lot of red folders. Hopefully, we get some movement on price. So let's start with the DXY. Before starting analyze the DXY, I want to mention the last NFP report on United States was very, very strong. As you can see, we got more jobs added, around 130,000 jobs added, more than expected, which is very, very strong. We also have unemployment rates, which is lowering, which is good for currency, of course. And we have some average hourly earning rising, which is good for economy. That's the NFP report on Wednesday. And then we have at the end of the last week, on Friday, we had CPI data, which comes out very, very soft. So CPI, a soft CPI is good for businesses, for those of you who trade stocks or indices. This is a good number. And also gold like to soft inflation, which usually means the probability of rate cut is not there, which is very, very good, which is very appreciated by gold. So we're gonna see in a minute how gold will react this week. Okay, so pretty much the most important news, we have a strong report jobs data. Can we see a strong move to the upside on DXY or not? We're gonna see it in a minute. So let's delete this. Let's start analyze the DXY. So the DXY, what do we have? We still have this channel I'm talking about for pretty much the beginning of the year. Price is distributing around this channel on monthly. We still have our monthly demand here, which is holding price right now. Okay, let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, we pretty much, I would say, ranging between this level and this level. You can see we are doing some ping pong between this support and resistance. We have our monthly demand zone, which is holding price there. Let's go down to the daily to find our order flow daily. Having a bearish order flow daily, usually I want to sell, but I could not sell because I have this monthly order flow. So I really want to see a break of this low, close below, because we are rejecting currently these lows. I want to see a close below to really have a clear bias to the downside. But with this strong report on NFP, who knows? Maybe we could get to see a bias getting in this trade and dollar getting stronger to the upside. So if I zoom clearly, we can see, let me take my Fibonacci tool from this last order flow daily. We can see we touched the 50% of Fibonacci, but we still have, you can see we still have this premium zone here. Let me mark up this premium zone. You see, we didn't touch. More clearly, we still have this supply zone. So maybe I want to see something like this, strong with a jobs data report this week. I want to see a strong dollar reach this supply and then maybe to follow the daily order flow bearish, start to sell from this supply zone will be very interesting for me. As long as we are not breaking this daily order flow bearish, you can see I am kind of like 50-50 because we have strong data report, NFP data report last Wednesday, and I have it, which is supposed to bring some strength on US dollar, but you can see it's not the case right now. This is the candle on Wednesday. You can see we make an indecision candle. We didn't make a move clearly, so this is what is bothering me right now. So let's go down to the 4 hour. The 4 hour, what do we have? We have a 4 hour order flow bearish, which start to align and make me very nervous because we have the weekly order flow bearish, the daily order flow bearish. We also have last week a 4 hour order flow bearish. You see, so that's why I'm very 50-50 on DXY. I have on one side fundamentals which telling me that we could potentially have a strong move, a trend on DXY based on the last NFP report data we got. On the other side, I have technically my order flow is bearish. So I'm gonna let price show me for the next week what direction it wants to go. Okay, but right now the only scenario I see is based, if I am based fundamentally on strong NFP reports. I want to see, to follow the strong report, I want to see some strength on US dollar at least around this zone, maybe test this supply zone and then to follow the order flow daily, another bearish to the downside. Okay, but I will be fully bearish, as I said, if we clearly break this low we form on NFE data and start to form an order flow bearish to the downside. Okay, so that's it for the DXY. Okay, the next one is Euro USD. So Euro USD is very interesting. If we base our analysis on what's we got on NFP data, I said strong NFP reports which could bring some strength on US dollar, we could see some rejection on Euro USD. Okay, why? Because first, fundamentally, US dollar could be strong. The second point, you see this channel, we are currently at the top of the channel, you see. So this could mean that price is overbought. We are also tapping this supply zone around here, which is holding price. We see some rejection, you can see this week. We can start to see some rejection right there. So let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, as I said, I really want to see some, because we are in the top of this channel, I want some retracement based on this trend of US dollar and strong NFP reports. If it's not the case and we have a weak dollar this week, this could potentially break to the upside of the channel. So a break and retest above the channel could also be a possibility to finally target these highs. Okay, so this is the scenario, but I really want to see some retracement because I think we are very overbought. On sell side, I want to target this low, not above this high. Okay, maybe at least this level, but I really want to see some drop on some sell off on Euro USD. Let's go to the daily. Daily, you can see we still have this daily order flow. The last daily order flow is still bullish. The weekly still bullish, so the trend is very strong. So we need some strength on US dollar to start very retracing this pair. Right now, I'm not very comfortable to buy. Is right. The trend is up, but I will not start buying aggressively. Maybe it's the time to not buy aggressively because we are topping the channel. We will see. So let's go down to the 4 hour. We still have this demand, you see, which we have not tested yet. You see, that's interesting. Let's go to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is bullish. You can see price start to reverse around here, breaking this structure and forming a 4 hour order flow. So I will not be surprised if we retest this zone to start going again, or maybe a deeper retracement to test this untest demand zone and maybe start to buy again. Okay, so in any case, I want to see some strength on US dollar to bring this price down at the beginning of the week. Okay, let's go to the 1 hour. What do we have in 1 hour? Yeah, we have last week some supply zone forming there. So for a quick trade, there is a possibility to have some retracement there and take a short like that. That is another possibility for some sellers. But for some buyers, I really want to buy around the point of control of the last month, around this demand zone, which could correspond also. If I take my Fibonacci from this low to this high, maybe seeing a deeper retracement in a discount zone will be interesting to buy again. Okay. If another case, if we don't have this scenario, another break of this high could simply show a bullishness, a return of the buyers, and continue the trend to the upside. As I said, maybe retest the top of the channel and start to target this high. So very not convinced on what the Euro USD wants to do this week. So I'm just exposing the scenario I'm looking for. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one is GBPUSD. Compared to the Euro USD, GBPUSD is for me is a better setup. We still have this level which is correspond to the 12-month imbalance I'm talking about at the beginning, from the beginning, since the beginning of the year. We are always rejecting this imbalance, so pay attention of this level. Seems like in monthly we are stuck on this level. You can see. Let's go down to the weekly. So the weekly, you can see from this low to this high, we have this low, this high. We barely break this high, but we still have the weekly order flow from this low to this high, which is bullish. Then what do we have? Last week we closed with some rejection of this level, which could potentially means with the potential strength coming on US dollar, we could see. I would not be surprised if we see a reverse to this low, targeting this sell side low. Go to the daily. So what do we have in daily? We still have the daily order flow bullish from this low to this high. Let's go to the 4 hour to very continue this daily bullish order flow. I want to see this 4 hour order flow switch bullish by breaking this last high. You see this live 4 hour order flow bearish. So I want to see this break before starting to buy again, as I said in my last video. But this week we didn't get that because I think we have some bad news. We still continue to have some bad news on pound, and as I say, if I go back to this new week, I think we have a lot of pound news. We have the claim on count change, we have inflation, I think, and we have some PMI retail sales, which will be very interesting. We can see the operator expects some weakness on retail sales. I think also some weakness on claim on count. You see, 22.8k more than the previous one, which is very bad for if we get something like more than expect, which could very weaken the pound. And this will be very interesting for me because if we get some negative data on pounds, I want to see some. I could see some. I would not be surprised if we start to have some bearishness on this pound, at least towards this zone. You see. That's pretty much my plan. If we don't break this, I want to see some break of some weakness coming from the pound to start selling this pound, because I think, yes, we are daily order flow bullish, but I think we are not finished to retrace yet. We could potentially retrace even lower in discount zone around this level or this level, point of control from the last year, if we get some weakness on pound this week. Okay, so I'm gonna very pay attention on pounds data. Let's go to the 1 hour. On 1 hour, you can see this supply zone hold perfectly the price and reject to the downside. So if we are bearish this week, if I take from this high to this low, we could see clearly the structure on 1 hour has turned bearish. We break this low clearly. If I can see some retracement around the discount zone of this hourly for on this or last order flow bearish 1 hour, some strength on US dollar, maybe I will sell this pair. Very interesting. It's more interesting than the structure, because we have a 4 hour structure bearish. It's more interesting than Euro USD, which have the 4 hour bullish. You see, let me switch. You see we have a 4 hour bullish on Euro USD compared to the GBPUSD, which where we have a 4 hour bearish. So I want to see some weakness on pound to be able to short this at least around this level, or this level, maybe something like that. I'm starting to buy again here. If not, maybe a break of this high, I'll start to buy again, which could, the 4 hour could realign with the daily order flow. Okay, so that's my pretty much my plan for the pound dollar. The next one is Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, we can clearly see we are breaking this descending channel. You can see we have already break this channel. It seems like we are targeting this high. You can see we have not tapped it yet, but it seems like this is the next target. Okay, let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, we have this order flow, which is the last weekly order flow starting from this low to this high, which is bullish clearly. So let's go to the daily. Daily, you can clearly see the order flow is there from this low to this high. We also bullish. Let's zoom in. What do we have? We still have this imbalance, which is holding price right now. So with the strength of Aussie, I'm still bullish, but maybe I'm expecting some retracement from this last day order flow bullish. If we can see, we have not retraced yet around the discount zone, which is represented by these three yellow line. You can see, so we have some room to retrace around this zone. But one thing I am very nervous is because we have not taken this high yet. So for my experience, when we took this high, we have the possibility to have a strong retracement to the downside. So I will not be surprised. Let's go down to the 4 hour. If price continue, let me get rid of that. If price continue to hold around this imbalance, day imbalance, and start to go again, targeting finally this higher time frame highs, which where we usually have the most volume. These highs in higher time frame, this is where we have the most volume, and maybe start to retrace harder around this discount zone and then start to buy again. So that's the scenario I will very looking for. So we will see what's happened. We still have some imbalance there in discount zone where I really want to see price come here to start buying again. Remember, Aussie dollar is fundamentally bullish because we're expecting to hike rates in Australia. The Bank of Australia this here expect to hike rates. That's why we have in the other side the Fed, which expect this here to lower interest rate. But don't get me wrong, we can also see some phase of retracement on Aussie with strong job report like that. For example, we could see if we're getting strength on US dollar, see some retracement. I want to see some retracement down there before starting to buy again. But fundamentally, I'm very bullish on Aussie. So pretty much that's my plan. Expect some bullish to take this high, monthly high, where we have the most volume and a strong retracement to this zone to start to buy again. So that's my plan for the AUD USD. The next one is NZD USD. So NZD USD, you can clearly see the structure. We break this high, we pretty much retrace here. Seems like we are in process of forming a double bottom. You can see we tap 2 times. If we break this high, there is a possibility we get some retracement test above this neckline, I could say, and start to buy again around to target this high. So this is what we can see in higher time frame on monthly. Let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, what do we have? We have this structure. We can see we are close to break this high. So this is what I want to see. We are targeting this high. So let's go to the daily. Daily, we have this order flow bullish. You can clearly see it's bullish, but NZD is so bullish that if I take from this low to this high, we didn't retrace anything on pretty much the same thing on AUD, Aussie dollar. We didn't retrace around the discount zone. You can clearly see this is my discount zone. These three yellow line represent my discount zone. So I want to see price at least. If price get, I'm not sure if price will get there, but if price came here, this will be a nice zone to buy again NZD USD. Okay, but because the trend is high, is strong, let's go down. I will not be surprised if, for example, you can clearly see the 38.2% of the Fibonacci level is holding price, plus the fact that we have some gap price here. I want to mention, you can see it's clearly holding price. We have clearly a zone of resistance here, a support, excuse me, zone of support here, which is holding price. We can clearly also see price is pretty much breaking above the channel retest, the top of the channel, and maybe is ready to go again. This is a possibility to target this high, you can see. So let's go down to the lower time frame, 4 hour. So what do we see in 4 hour? 4 hour, we can see the daily order flow is bullish. We also have the 4 hour just switch bullish. You can clearly see we have this 4 hour. We pretty much break this high. So expecting some retrace around this discount zone from the 4 hour order flow, and maybe start to buy again here to finally target this high. Okay, but we could potentially have this scenario where price decide to go directly to the upside, target this high, and because this high is a high time, I think yes, is a high time high, and we know that in a high time highs and lows, we have this is where we have the most volume. We have the most volume, and I will not be shocked we get a strong retracement to the downside after taking these higher time frame highs. Okay, so that's pretty much my scenario on NZD USD. Nothing much to say. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. Clearly see we have the 1 hour order flow bearish already. Maybe some retracement again at the beginning of the week. But as I said, I want to buy. I'm long-term bullish on NZD USD. Maybe take advantage of the potential strength on US dollar to start to sell this this market. Maybe a retracement, a deeper retracement around this supply zone and then short. This is a possibility as long as we are not breaking this high. um, we could see some bearishness. Okay, if we finally break this high, so wait to target this higher time frame high, and then we could potentially see a deeper retracement. So we will see. And plus the fact that we have some Kiwi dollar data this week, so I need to pay attention of this data on economic calendar to see how to monitor these pairs. Okay. The next one is USDJPY. So USDJPY, what do we see? So if we go in the higher time frame, you can clearly see on 12-month time frame, seems like the 12-month candle is reversing. You can clearly see we are reversing. Maybe we could target this low. It's very interesting because if I take, for example, let me show you the Japanese yen basket. You can clearly see we reach the high time low. Let me show you. We are clearly at the bottom of of this chart. Seems like we are reversing clearly. We see a bullish momentum coming, plus the fact that the Bank of Japan, we could potentially see some intervention of the Bank of Japan. I will be very careful on yen. I could see potentially strengths coming from yen pairs on Japanese yen. So you can clearly see, seems like we are reversing. You can see maybe a break of this high could potentially see a trend coming from the yen. So that's what I am looking for. So if I go back to USD yen, so what can we see? We clearly see we also have already have the a daily bearish order flow. You can clearly see from this high to this low. It seems like we are ready to form a new lower low. Clearly, we need to break this low to form a new lower low and then start the bearishness. The, the bearishness have already started, but to continue, I would say, to continue the trend to the downside. So let's go up to the weekly, no, the monthly. We can see we clearly target. We are we are going from this support becoming resistance, I think, and it seems like we are targeting this support zone. You see clearly here. So we will see we potentially have the point of control from the last year. We could target if we break this support before we have a lot of obstacle before reaching the very low of the year. The candle we see we have a lot of obstacle, a lot of take profit, I would say, which could reverse price at any moment. But this is why it's very difficult to project as a retail trader in the long term. We had a direction, but we still need to adapt anytime. So for me, my short-term target will be this zone. I'm bearish on USDJPY, but we really need to pay attention on US dollar strength because we have a strong report, but I think the Bank of Japan don't want to see a weak Japanese yen against the dollar. So there is a possibility that we continue this trend at least around this level. So I mark up a little bit of imbalance here who I could potentially, or I want to see a potential retracement around here, maybe around this to test this resistance to start selling again. I need to see some retracement. This is a very hard environment. You see this? For the way I trade, I don't like this because I need some retracement to take a trade. We also when price give us a shallow retracement like that, this is very shallow retracement. I'm not able to capitalize or get an entry, so I need at least a good retracement on 1 hour or 4 hour. This is what I expect, so I will be very careful. If price could also decide to test the point of control from the last week and drop directly, I will not exclude a potential reversal after taking this low. Maybe a deep retracement is possible with the strength of US dollar and start to sell again. But my overall bias right now on USDJPY is bearish, clearly. Okay. The next one is USDCAD. So USDCAD, as I said, I'm bearish. If I go to the 12 month, as I said in my last video, from this high to this low, we are bearish. We are retracing around the premium zone where we really want to see a selling pressure coming in, but we need some some triggers, some impact news from Canadian dollar. Right now, Canadian dollar is not giving me some potential, some signal to really start to short this market. But technically, we are in a good spot. We see price is holding right there in this order block. You see, this order block is holding price in higher time frame, rejecting price. So I'm expecting at the end of the year some retracement around this low, maybe taking this low. Who knows? We will see. Let's go down to the monthly. What do we have in monthly? Monthly, we still have this order flow monthly from this low to this high, but because on the higher time frame on the 12 month, we want to see a bearish pressure. I want to consider the weekly order flow. You can clearly see this is the weekly order flow. We pretty much we took this low, we form a new low. So my weekly order flow starts from this high to this low, clearly. So I said I want to see some retracement around this imbalance. You can see clearly to really start to take a short again. And plus the fact that we got strong NFP reports, this last week, I will not be shocked if we start to see a buying pressure from this demand zone right there, which is holding price. Okay, so we could potentially see a trend coming to this imbalance where I really want to see to sell the market to continue the higher time frame order flow. Okay, so pretty much this is my plan. So let's see if we get some strength on US dollar. On daily, we can clearly see we are also bearish. So we have the weekly order flow bearish. We have the daily order flow bearish. Let me grab my Fibonacci from this high to this low. We test the 50% of Fibonacci, but we didn't form a new lower low. We didn't break this low. Why? Because of the NFP reports on US dollar. So I will not be surprised, as I said, if we getting some strength, at least around this imbalance on monthly to start selling USDCAD again. So what do we have on 4 hour? On 4 hour, we clearly also have 4 hour order flow bearish. Clearly, we have 4 hour order flow bearish, but we could potentially see if we have some strong data on Canadian dollar, on some weakness on US dollar, we could potentially see a drop because I'm prioritizing the bearish side because USD CAD is bearish for my weekly order flow. From my daily order flow, we also have the 4 hour order flow, which is aligned. So I have many reasons technically to short this market, but because I want to short at a better price, and I'm not excluding the potential strength coming from USD, the DXY. There is a possibility we trace. Let me grab. We trace even further around this discounts, this premium zone. See where we have the monthly imbalance clearly. So this is where we really find to sell hard. But when price reach there, if price reach there, I want to see some economic data on Canadian dollar very strong to start selling this market. Okay, so that's pretty much my plan on USD CAD. I am short term bullish because of the US dollar and long term bearish because of the trend clearly. The next one is USDCHF. So USDCHF, we clearly bearish. This market is full bearish. It seems like we are targeting this low on monthly. Let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, what do we have from this high to this low? Weekly order for bearish, of course. We are rejecting this imbalance. We see we are rejecting this imbalance. The daily time frame, we have this order flow from this high to this low. The order flow daily is bearish. Do we retrace at the 50%? Nope, we didn't tap the 50%, but we retrace very hard. This is the definition of strong trend. So we are not is not we are not always retracing at the 50%. We barely retrace at the 38.2% and retrace again if the trend is very strong. So we can clearly see we have this imbalance, this daily imbalance, which is holding price. Let's go to the 4 hour. We are very bearish clearly. So if I take from this high to this low, we retest the 50%, and it seems like we are ready to drop again. So let's go down to the 1 hour. Yeah, we are clearly from a mini supply zone there. We test this supply zone, and it seems like we are ready to drop again. We'll at least take some profit there because I'm not expect we get a huge retracement, and this has my second target. So very bullish on USDCHF despite the strain of US dollar. If we get some strain on US dollar, we will see. Okay, so let's finish with commodities. So starting with the gold though. So what do we see in gold? Gold, we still bullish on gold. You can see on monthly time frame we retest this level. As I said in my last video, it seems like we are ready to go up again, targeting this high. Let's go down to the weekly. What do we have in weekly? We have this hard flow weekly, high low. This high we pretty much retrace. You can see we clearly retrace around the discount zone. Interesting. Let's go to the daily. The daily order flow. My daily order flow starts here from this low to this high. We retrace deeply on pretty much on, I would say, the point of control from the last month. We really retest here, and price is stuck around this imbalance. You see this imbalance? Price is stuck here. It's stuck there. So let's go to the 4 hour. I said in my last weekly market outlook, I want to see this high to get broke. We pretty much form a new higher high, but we don't really break with. I want to see some break with some strength coming, some volume, retest the zone, and then I want to start buy again gold. So, and remember we had soft inflation last week, so soft inflation is very good for buying gold. So this will be, I will pay attention on this level. You see this level? I will pay attention on this. If we break this, then we will start to buy, maybe targeting this supply zone here on the all-time high again. So that's my plan, pretty simple on gold. The next one is silver. Silver is not the same on silver. Silver, what do we have in monthly? We have price retest this monthly imbalance, where we find in weekly imbalance we see price really tap around this weekly imbalance. I have my weekly order flow from this low to this high. We retrace deeply on discount zone. It seems we starting to see some rejection. We also have the yearly open, which is rejecting the price, but it's different from gold. I still want to see uh, a 4 hour order flow switching. We are not there yet. You can clearly see the structure. The 4 hour structure is bearish. Silver is very bearish. We could potentially see something like, let me show you, maybe some sort of descending channel where we see price is descending, and then we touch this, I believe this demand zone, and maybe start to buy again silver. But if I have to choose between gold and silver, it's clearly gold, which have a better technically wise, have a better price action. Okay, the next one is US oil. So US oil, we get last week we see a lack of demand. You can see we get more barrel of crude oil held in inventory, which is not good, which prove there is a lack of demand on crude oil. Plus the fact that if I go to the weekly, we have two successive indecision candle, you can see. So last week I said I would not be surprised if we range, and it seems like it was the case. If we go, for example, to the 4 hour, we're starting to range here, you see. So I'm still bullish. The structure is still bullish. We can see we have the 4 hour order flow from this low to this high. We also have the daily order flow. Clearly, you see how the daily order flow we have broke this high, previous high. So maybe expecting some retracement around here and maybe start to buy again US oil. But I need to see some fundamental, some demand coming from the data. Anyway, soft inflation can bring some demand on US oil, and good strong report on jobs data could also bring some demand, because we supposed to have some consumer, some expense on economy. So if people have jobs, they have wage growth, they can spend more in the economy. So we could see it's also come with more expense, more demand on potentially on crude oil. So you get what I'm saying. So that's it for US oil. I'm bullish, but right now, based on what I'm seeing on the chart, it seems like we are ranging right now. So, and then let's finish with natural gas. So natural gas, as I said, I am in position at the beginning, from the beginning of this month. It's not going well right now because I am in drawdown, you can see. But as I said, I will not get out of this trade as long as winter season is not finished, because natural gas is a product which have a high demand in winter season. So you can clearly see if I use the seasonal tools from trading view. Let me go to the table view and had the average performance of natural gas. You can see from the page the 4 year, the last 4 year performance. You can see January is also usually a good month. February is not a good month, which is happening right now. March, this is the average, by the way. So in average, we could potentially see demand coming from March, April, May. So that's why I accept my drawdown on February. Let's go back to the chart. You see, this is the January candle. We have a bullish movement. This is the February, the actual month. We got a bearish movement. I expect for the next month coming in March some demand coming. So that's why I'm preparing on the 4 hour in the lower time frame. You can clearly see start to buy here when come demand comes in at the beginning of the February, but we start to lose some demand. You can see price gap range there, gap again to the downside is ranging. Maybe another gap on the next week and reaching around this demand zone on the point overlapping with the point of control from the last year. This is where I want to see some signal, another break to the upside, and this is where I will add, if I see a signal here, I will add another contract on natural gas to mitigate this drawdown. I need to buy another in a better price, I would say. So this will be interesting. I'm still holding, even I am in drawdown. I'm still holding this trade. Want to enter somewhere here, maybe put my stop below this monthly order flow and try to ride to swing trade this for the next demand coming on natural, the potential next demand coming from on natural gas. Okay, so that's pretty much it on my analysis. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This will help me know that you appreciate my content. So thank you for watching. Have a nice trading week and be careful on the market. It was Josue, the part-time trader. I'm out.